When we were kids, we were not financially well off. Everyone in the community was basically either as well off as we were or less. I lived next door to the Baca family, and there were like 10 children in their family. I remember that I would get 2 pairs of shoes, and those poor kids next door got 1 pair of shoes, and their shoes were pretty worn out. But I remember they could run through the thorns and the rocks and everything barefoot because they didn't have shoes. And I wanted to be just like them, and I would try, and it didn't work. My feet were too tender. We observed all of the church feasts like Lent and then Easter. And we had all of the other feasts, the Saint Feast of Fiestas, and in the pueblos we had the Feast of Our Lady of Guadalupe, December the 12th. We all went to Mass, and then there was always lots of food to go with it. We had a procession. It was the largest part of the festivity. When the pueblos were celebrating their feasts, we always liked to go. We would go to the Mass, and then after the Mass, we would hang around because you could buy hamburgers at the hamburger stands. And then there was always a carnival with the rides. My mom would make fiesta dresses for me and Eileen so we could go to the fiestas. And we liked to go to the fiestas in Santa Fe because they had dances. We were friends from the time we were probably 3-4 years old. I can remember we used to play together, and we decided we were going to build a little house, so we made adobes in our sardine cans, and then we put them together with mud. And I remember we built a little house, but I don't think we could stand in it. I think we had to only sit in it, and it was so little, probably only 2 of us could get in there at a time. And then we would go up into the hills and look for chimaha, which is a root with a little bit of a fern on it. I think it translated into wild celery. And then we would also find wild onions, and we would bring them home, and they could be used for food. And another thing we did, we collected wild spinach along the ditch banks because they grew there because of the moisture from the water in the ditch. And then we would go and get fruit from the fruit trees. Yeah, well, I remember when we would go looking for chimaha and cebollita, we called it the little wild onions. We would pack a lunch. We'd make peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, and it was like an adventure for us. It was fun, and I would go with Eileen from next door and her 2 brothers. Sometimes people don't have lifelong friends, but we did.